So now I've officially been diagnosed with gender dysphoria at the age of 23, and it gives me so much relief and less stress at the fact that I'm now being believed in what I'm saying by medical professionals who are trained gender specialists. So realistically, they are people who know whether or not people are telling the truth or not. I've been officially diagnosed with being or having gender dysphoria. So I'm officially now trans. I'm not saying at all that without a diagnosis, people aren't trans, because you actually need to feel and have the effects of gender dysphoria first, to then go to the GP to talk to them about it, to then get referred to the gender specialists. This is just like proof for me. Don't think or believe that I specifically am trans. I can legitimately prove that I'm now trans, and I have the letter here. It has been folded a bit so you can't see certain information, but here it is in all its glory. So glad and grateful that I've been given this opportunity to have the appointments with gender specialists at Trans Plus and to be given this diagnosis. But the letter just essentially says like who Trans Plus are, who the people they've got working there, and it just says, following my original referral to the Tavistock, my referral was being transferred to Trans Plus in order to be seen sooner and quicker. He's now been removed from the waiting list for the Tavistock GIC. I've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria following a 2-part assessment process involving an initial assessment appointment with my colleague, who's a registered nurse, on the 16th of November 2023. In this assessment and my subsequent second assessment, we discussed with me my history of gender dysphoria, social circumstances, mental health, medical history, family history, as well as the gender affirming interventions I've already accessed and those that he wishes to access. We have been able to formulate a treatment plan as detailed below. Basically for me, what I've already done so far before I went to Trans Plus was I've basically done as much social transition as possible. I mean, I've done everything in terms of that realistically. I've had my name legally changed since 2019. I only get referred to as a female name and female pronouns at home by my parents because they don't at all listen, pay attention, or even at all care about any of this realistically, which is so annoying and just gives me so much pain. All of that. Anytime and every time I've had a job since 2019, I've been called by my preferred name, preferred pronouns, and just been reasonably accepted for me being me. There's been a few complications and hiccups with it, and not everyone has seen me for who I am. They're just those type of people, really. I'm not gonna try and force people to accept me for who I am. Realistically, those people are just people that I was around when working. It was very unlikely that I was ever going to be like friends with them or anything like that, so they were just never important to me in any way, shape or form. And if you're not going to listen and learn, then realistically you're not my type of people or person at all. So I present as male full-time. I wouldn't ever imagine presenting myself as female, and that is just my choice, and this is just what I am personally comfortable with. I'm not at all comfortable with female clothes or doing anything that's typically female, and this is just me and my life and my experience of being trans and just life in general. But the letter goes on to say, following endorsement for hormone therapy by an NHS service provider, hormone therapy is generally commenced by GP with guidance from the gender service in order for service users to commence hormone therapy in a timely manner. We have prescribed and dispensed hormone therapy with Trans Plus. We will have follow-up appointments with him every 12 weeks, and once he is stable on his regimen or sooner in certain circumstances, we will write to you again to request you take over prescribing responsibilities. So essentially what they said at the appointments was, for now, Trans Plus is going to do everything in terms of doing what they need to for me being trans. GP is going to do very little in terms of giving me what I actually need, because I said to them that it would be a bit better this way. My GP is completely useless. They don't do anything. They never do anything on time either. With taking hormones, you really need to do things quick and on time, otherwise you'll just mess everything up realistically. I just have no confidence at all in my GP. They're just gonna mess everything up, that's what they're gonna do. I know me going to Soho is expensive, and I know that eventually at some point I'll stop going there for these appointments and they'll stop prescribing me testosterone, and it will be my GP that does that. But I just have no confidence at all in my GP. Just useless, really. I am slightly gonna miss having to go to Soho every so often. It seems like a nice place. I mean, I don't know where anything is there. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it eventually. Realistically now, no one can tell me that I'm lying or making this up when I legitimately have a piece of paper telling me that I have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is a thing that you have when you're trans. That is the medical diagnosis. So to any and all of the haters out there, this is real, this is genuine. People are genuinely trans and they're not at all lying about it. It is definitely a real thing that should be taken completely seriously. I don't understand why anyone would deliberately go out there and be hateful and spiteful and teach their kids not to be respectable individuals and go out there to cause harm towards people, because it is so just completely despicable that people go out there to hate on people, and I just don't get it, don't understand it. It's not something I would ever want to do or would ever do realistically. People are trans and that's just the way it is, and it is a real, genuine, recognised medical condition where there are things that people have available to them that they can do in terms of making a trans person feel better about themselves and giving them exactly what they need to have. Not every trans person goes through medical transitioning. It is purely and utterly down to how their own gender dysphoria affects them. For me, realistically, I need to have testosterone, I need to have top surgery, and maybe even bottom surgery as well. So basically I believe that I need absolutely everything that I can get in terms of transitioning medically. That's it for this video. I hope to see you in the next one, so follow along and subscribe and all of that kind of stuff.